the prices that apartments are selling for in Melbourne, and I'm not saying they're terrible investments, but the prices that apartments are selling for, you couldn't replace them for now. They're selling for 10,000 a square meter. To replace those apartments today, if you were to build them, 14, 15,000 a square. And they're not selling at 10,000 a meter. So they're probably not even worth that. So, but to replace that same product today, you couldn't build it for what they're selling for, which means they're not going to come out of the ground.
Yeah, and that's what's happening here as well. Gold Coast, Brisbane. There's a lot of buildings that have been sold off the plan that will never get built because they can't stack. What are your thoughts on off the plan?
It's terrible.
Why?
And look at that shit behind you. It's fucking garbage.
For those of you guys listening, we've that haven't watched, we've got the skyline of Surfers Paradise, of the Gold Coast, basically, which is all apartments. So that's what he's referring to.
No, look, I mean, there's exceptions to the rule. If you're buying ultra high end luxe off the plan, if we're talking Sydney, like your Crown and Circular Quay, like One Circular Quay, like they're marquee buildings. You're appealing to the top 0.1% of the world's population, not even Australia. They're fine and they'll do well long term. But if you're buying cookie cutter 1 and 2 bedroom stock, in whether it's Brisbane, whether it's fucking here, whether it's Sydney, places like Waterloo and Zetland and Crow's Nest and St Leonard's, or Melbourne, it's like history shows us that it's fucking shit and it will remain shit. Because like the reality is, you think about yourself, like if people are listening, would you live in it? Most people would not, right? Lots of Chinese will live in it, which is fine. Lots of people from overseas will live in it, but Australians, I don't know too many Australians personally, and when I say Australians, like people born in Australia, that want to live in those kinds of properties. Most people want to live in a house or they want to live on land, which is totally fine. Internationally, when they're coming to Australia, it's probably more acceptable. But generally that stock is built to appeal to either the investor or it's built to appeal to, maybe an Australian-based foreign buyer. Which means when they sell them in the future, they're also appealing to the same people. And as we know, investors buy with their heads, not their hearts. And when you appeal to someone who buys with their heads, it's like they're only buying based on numbers. And that's like, I think it's in Melbourne, it's like 60% of properties resell for less than what they paid for them, or maybe more than that. Brisbane, up until only recently, all that Fortitude Valley garbage was selling for less. It's happening in Sydney, probably not as much, but it still happens there. So yeah, I just like,
yeah, there was this big spike during COVID, right? Like that unique period of time where basically everything went up in value.
Yeah, but that wasn't because of real estate.
But it was
because of
correct.
an increase in money supply.
But I think what happens is people get confused because people don't understand. Again, most people don't understand how money works and money supply and inflation.
Like we've spoken about it here as well, it's all the margins that are built in, especially the off the plan stock. There's 30, 40, 50 grand comms built into these. You're buying someone else's margin, and you're purely just praying and hoping that the market goes up.
Dude, there are some people that are selling this shit at bulk, like to fucking everyday mums and dads, and they are gonna get fucked. That's gonna happen. Like history shows us that. And the way that I talk about it, like people go, "Oh yeah, Jack, I bought one for this and I sold it for this. Best thing I ever did." And I was like, "Amazing." You're 1%. Go on, let's go talk to 100 people, and out of 100, how many of them made money? And the reason I had this view before I was as educated as I am now, and I'm still not that educated, my parents did it. They bought off the plan Sunshine Coast Surf Air, held it for 11 years. Before COVID, many years before any of this shit happened, sold it for, I think, $30,000 or $50,000 less than what they paid for over 11 years, plus holding costs. Same thing, bought a house, Truganina in Melbourne. Fuck tenants, shit demographic, same thing. I think they broke even on it. But when you actually build in real cost, they lost money on it. Yeah. So I saw it. Yeah. I saw it. So I was like...
Yeah, everyone's high-fiving while it's been COVID, and everyone's a property investor because you really couldn't lose money. But go back into a steady market again when you're buying it exactly like you're saying, and you've got to add in all the costs. When we're on a stable market, people will get burnt pretty quickly.
Most will get burnt. Like even vowels, trying to get a vowel to stack up. Like they forget. People just think, oh yeah, I can buy it today. 2-3 years time, market moves at 6 or 7%. Fuck yeah, I'll settle. Have inbuilt equity until they get to settlement, and then the banks don't want to lend at an increased val because it's risky to the bank. So then they get their values in there. They all val it down Then you got to come up with extra capital. You can't pull out because you're unconditional on a contract. Like this shit happens. And then you got fucking building defects and all that shit that come with it. It's not good.
So what's the strategy for the 18-year-old, Jack Anderson? Or you mentioned you had the new
Big Monty.
Monty that's coming in. What's the game plan? What's the perfect first property for someone on that $60,000 that's living in Sydney, it's saving the deposit? What is the ideal deposit you want him to get to, and
Yeah, so
what are you buying?
I mean, like the first thing is 60 grand is going to be hard for him. So he's not going to be constrained by cash. He's going to be constrained by serviceability borrowing. He's going to be able to borrow 300 or 400 grand. So he's not going to be able to buy fuck all, which is going to be a problem that we'll explain throughout the journey. It's like, we got this problem solved, but like we can't actually buy without the increased income. So he's a hustler. He's going to do well. He's in a sales role. Hopefully he does well over the next 12 months and we can increase his 60 base to maybe 80 or 90 grand a year so we can borrow more money. But assuming that you are someone who's on, say, 80, 90 grand a year, you can borrow 500 or 600 grand. You're either buying a boutique apartment in an old 60s or 50s or 40s or 20s block in Sydney, like a deco block, in a beachside location, ideally, because that's where they're probably going to do best because you're constrained by land. Or if you just want to go straight down the easier path because you can get it wrong with apartments very easily, go buy a house, an old house on a good block of land in the best suburb you can afford, and that's it. Like there's not too many complexities to it.